Fine, good morning to you all students. Hi students, how are you? I hope you all are fine and you all are doing well. So I hope by God's grace you all are safe. So warm greetings to you all students. Welcome to our today's online class. So this period is computer science for you students. So please all of you take your computer textbooks in your hand and sit in a place and watch and listen carefully what are things I am teaching. Okay students? So now we are studying about chapter 6, isn't it? So what's the title of your chapter students? Specification and abstraction. So till last class we have studied about specification. What do you mean by specification? How you need to write the specification algorithm. So these are the steps you have studied in the last class. Okay. So today you are going to study one example for writing specification algorithm. Okay. So what's the question means? Listen. So write the specification of an algorithm for computing square root of a number. Okay. So you are going to compute or you are going to calculate the square root of a particular number. Using which algorithm student? Specification algorithm. Okay. So what are the conditions you have studied in the last class to write the specification algorithm? First you need to represent the name of the algorithm. Along with the name of the algorithm you should give the some inputs, isn't it? Then second condition is you should represent the properties of the input. What's the third one? So input and output you should give with which one line students? Command lines. So third line is output. The third one is the third output also you should give with command lines, and also you need to represent or you need to declare the input output relation. These are the common rules for writing specification algorithm. Okay, so based on the rules, so you are going to write this algorithm. Okay, what's algorithm student? You are going to compute the or you are going to calculate the square root of a particular number. So you can name the algorithm. First step is you should name the algorithm, isn't it? So you can name the algorithm as square root. Okay students, you can name the algorithm as what? Square root. Okay, so what's the next step? First you need to name the algorithm. Then name of the algorithm is followed by input. Okay, so to give the input you need to declare some variable. Okay, so here you are taking the input variable as n. Okay, so n means nothing but, for example, you are going to calculate the square of a particular number. So if you are going to calculate the square of a particular number, so you should require the number. Isn't it any one number you need? Without taking any number, whether you can able to find the square root? No, it's not possible. So you need particular number, isn't it? So that number only you are going to store in the variable which one students? N. Okay, for example, max you have studied, no? For example, a square, b square, c square, a equal to 5 means you can give a equal to 5 square or b equal to 10 square or 2 square. So like that, each and every number if you are giving some number as a input, you should declare along with variable. Okay students, so that variable you are taking as a n. Understood? First line over now students. So what's the first line? To write the specification algorithm means you should name the algorithm. Name of the algorithm is followed by the input. So what's the name of the algorithm? Square root. So what's the input you are giving? N. Okay. Then, so what's the second line you need to write? Property of the input. Okay. So what's the property of the input you are giving means, listen. So always what number you are giving as the input, it should not be negative. Okay, so it should not be negative. So if you are giving some number, so that number will not be a negative number. So normally if you are squaring any number, means for example 2 square, 3 square, 4 square, so normally you will choose positive number. That's normal, isn't it? So the negative numbers also you can give, but here what condition or what's the property they are giving means, so always you should choose which one? Positive number. Understood students? So second line, property of the input also you have given. Then third one is the property of the output. So what's the property of output and what's the relation between input and output? So what answer you will get students? So output means the input you are giving the variable n. Same way output also you need to declare some variable. Okay, so input you have declared the variable as n. So output you are giving the variable called y. Okay, output you are giving the variable called what? Y. So how you are giving mean y square equal to n. Y means, listen, Because input you are giving in the variable, which one, students? N. So always the variable, the value you are passing in which variable? N. So you are giving y square equal to n. Understood, students? So that only they are writing here. See, first line is the name of the algorithm. What's the name of the algorithm? Square root. So inside what you need to give? Input. So what's the input variable? N. Second line, what you need to give? Property of the input. So if you are giving property of the input, always starts with command line. Okay. So what's the property? N is a, so input. Input means which variable? N. So is a real number. What do you mean by real number? So normal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's a real number, we can say, isn't it? So it's a real number, first condition. Second one, the number, what number you are giving, it should not be negative. That means the number is always greater than or equal to 0. That means what number you are giving, that number is always above 0. That is 1, 2 or like that. Okay. Then, so input, property of the input also over. What's the next line? Property of the output. Okay. So what's the property of the output, or what's the relation between input and output? Third line, always you should give property of the output as well as the relation between input and output. Okay. So what's the relation between input and output? So input you are giving n. So output, what's the variable you are declaring? Y. So here if you are giving a real number as a input. Okay. So if you are giving real number as an input, means what output you will get? Output also you will get as a real number. Isn't it? So you are giving z y square equal to n. Okay. So output variable is y. You are going to square the number. So what's the number? N. So y square equal to n. Understood, students, how you need to write the specification algorithm? Always first you need to write the name of the algorithm. Then name of the algorithm is followed by n. Then after that you should give the property of the input. Property of the input means it's a real number, and the number, what number you are giving, it should not be a negative number. Okay, what's the third one? So the relation between input and output. What's the relation? So output variable you are taking as y. So y square equal to n. Understood? So next one is specification as contract. Okay. So what do you mean by contract? You might have heard this word, contract. For example, so particular person is going to build one house. Okay, particular person is going to build one house. Okay, so the person has lot of aims regarding his house. So his house may be like this. So first he is choosing, one example only I am telling. So he is choosing one best contractor or best builder or best engineer, you can take. Okay, best engineer. Okay, so he is telling all the plans to the engineer. So my house like this, and I need this sit out like this, or hall like this, or car push like this, likewise. So his requirements, all his requirements or all his needs, he is telling to whom? The designer. Designer means that builder or engineer. Okay. So the user has the rights, or the person who is building the house, isn't it? The person who wishes to build the house, the person has the rights to say all his wishes regarding his house, isn't it? That means requirements. My house may be like this. So that's the responsibility or rights of the user or the owner of the house, isn't it? Then what's the role of the engineer or builder? So builder or that engineer so needs to satisfy all his right. What are the things he said to the engineer? All the things need to be satisfied by the engineer. That's the responsibility of the what? The builder. Understood? So contract means it's a relation between whom and whom? The builder and the owner of the house. So the builder, that means the owner of the house, or the person who wishes to build the house, has the rights to say all his wishes or all his needs. My house like this. All his wishes to the builder. That's the rights of the user. So what's the responsibility of the builder or engineer? The builder needs to satisfy all his requirements. Understood? So this is the concept. Now read. Okay. First, before studying this one, so please just think this example, then you will get understood. So see, specification of an algorithm means it's just a contract between whom and whom? Designer. Who is designing the particular algorithm? Okay, who is designing the particular algorithm and who is using the algorithm? Okay, for example, so the company will release lot of softwares. Okay, so the user, first they will collect the requirements from the user. How the software like this. Okay, so after getting the requirements, they will design the software. So likewise, so it's a contract. Specification algorithm means it's a contract between whom and whom? The designer, who is designing the algorithm, as well as who is using the algorithm. Okay, so that only they are giving the next line, rights and responsibilities. So the user has the rights to say all of his needs to the designer. So designer, the responsibility needs to satisfy all the needs of the user. Okay, so that's the relation between the user and the algorithm. We are called as what? Input output relation. Okay, so if the particular user is failed to say all his requirements, he is not telling the requirement. For example, the person who is wishes to build a house, no, the person is not saying clearly about his house. The engineer will build that house based on his wish. Engineer, isn't it? So but if the user is saying particular thing correctly, means he will build like that. So same way, if the user fails to say the requirement correctly, so you will not get the proper output. So you will not get the proper input and output relation. Understood, student? Specification is contract. Okay, so see one diagram they are giving. So one user is there. Okay, so the user has the particular right and the responsibility for saying all of his needs. So and this is designer. So designer has the rights and responsibility for satisfying all the needs of the user. Understood? Okay. So listen, the same example only they are giving. Okay, already have studied the same example. So finding square root of the number. So what's the first step? You need to name the algorithm. What's the name of the algorithm? Square root. Okay, then you should give the property of the input as well as property of the output. So what's the property of input? So the input should be, n should be a real number. That means the number needs to be greater than 0. Output is, so always you will get the squaring of particular number. So y square equal to n. So in this example they are combining, or in this example they are linking with the specification as contract. Okay, for example, particular person is writing a program or designing a algorithm for this one. Okay, so always already have given the condition, the number what input you are giving, that number should be a positive number. So if you are giving positive number, always you will expect positive output. But if you are giving the negative number, okay, if you are giving the negative number, so if you are giving negative number also, you will get the output as positive. But if you are giving a negative number, whether you can expect the output as a negative number? No. Why? Square. Square means what? Automatically it will convert to positive. Understood, students? Okay. Then, so specification over. Next thing is abstraction. Okay. So what do you mean by abstraction? Okay. So first I am going to say the definition about abstraction. Okay. So what the definition of abstraction means? So it will hide all the irrelevant details or unnecessary details. Okay, abstraction means it will hide all the unnecessary details or irrelevant details. Only it will give the essential or important things. That is called abstraction. Okay, so what do you mean by abstraction, students? So abstraction is a process of providing only the important things or essential things, and it will hide all the irrelevant things. That is called what? Abstraction. Okay, for example, I am telling, so in English you will write hints development, isn't it? So hints development, so in the hints they will give some hint points. Whether hints point, whether they will give the entire detail of the things or the entire detail of the story. They will give the detail of the story, but they will not give in brief format. So what are the important concepts or important things in the story, they will give us a hints. From reading itself you can understand this is the theme of the story. This one you need to elaborate like this. Same way, so if you are going to learn to ride a bicycle, okay, so bicycle, lot of parts will be there. Okay, so too, if you are to learn a bicycle, which are the 4 important things you need to know? So you should know the function about what's the use of pedal, so what's the use of handlebar, what's the use of brake, what's the use of bell. So this and all basic common things, important things. So lot of things, tires are there, then dynamo is there. So lot of things will be available inside a bicycle, but while you are going to learn the riding a bicycle, so you should always take care about only these 4 things, important things. You will not take care or you will not bother about what are the internal working of the cycle or how this cycle will ride or this and that. Okay, so likewise, so always abstraction means always you are going to provide the essential things or important things and hiding the irrelevant detail. That is called what? Abstraction. Okay, so normally in our life also, if you are taking means, lot of problems will come, isn't it? So from the problems you need to leave everything, each and only important things. If you are taking all the things and keeping in your mind means, you will get tensed, isn't it? So in a life also, if you are facing lot of problems, you will leave something, only you need to take the essential things, then only you can move further forward. Understood the concept of abstraction, students? So abstraction means, so the process of providing only the essential things and hiding the unnecessary details or irrelevant thing, that is called what? Abstraction. Understood? Okay. So this is the definition. See, abstraction is process of ignoring or hiding irrelevant details and providing a problem by essential features, that is called what? Abstraction. Okay, so abstraction, if you are going to solve the problem, so max problem will be, lot of problems are there, so some students know to solve the problems in very shortcut manner, some students don't know to solve the problem in a shortcut manner. So problem is same, but based on your thinking you can able to solve the problem in a short manner or elaborated manner. Okay, same way abstraction means you need to give the details as much you can short. Okay, so one best example they are giving. Okay, so you are going, for example, you are going to meet one doctor in a hospital. Okay, so you will suffer from or anyone disease, maybe anyone disease you will suffer. So if you went to the hospital means, you might have seen the in the front of the hospital they will display lot of the doctor's name along with the specialist. So this doctor is specialist for this one, this doctor is specialist. So what you will think, so based on your disease you need to choose which doctor. For example, so orthopedian always looks along with what? Skeletal system. So along with, so the gastroenterologist always looks along with what? Digestive system. Physio doctor always looks along with what? Physio, that is muscular system. So like for example, if you need to take physio, so if you need to take physio, whether you will meet all these three doctors? No. Only physio doctor alone you will meet, isn't it? So that is abstraction. So abstraction means, so see, lot of doctors are there. But so based on your disease, you need to choose that doctor alone. That is called abstraction. Understood? So medicine, that means in a hospital, lot of doctors are there, lot of details are there. But based on your disease, you need to choose which one you require. That is called abstraction. Understood, students? Okay. So another one example. So for example, the government has trying to build a dam or a road or anything, railway track or anything. Okay. First they will take the map, Google map or anything. Okay. From the map they will design from here to here, this area to this area we need to put the road. Okay. So for building a dam or for building a road or anything, so for their needs, which one is required? First requirement is land. So whether they will borrow about, so for example they are going to build a dam. So build a dam means which one is required? So the water content, that place, if a water content needs to will be there, then only we can able to store the water. So they will always take care about whether the water content we can store there, that whether they will bother about vehicle is going by that way or train is going by that way. No. So for example they are going to build a road means whether they will bother about a one-way road or two-way road or three-way road. No. So they are building a railway track means they will bother, so it is not affect some other places. Likewise, lot of things in a map, lot of things will be there, but based on their wish they need to choose which is requirement for it. That is called what? Abstraction. Understood, students? Okay. So if you are going to design an algorithm, or the particular designer is going to design an algorithm. Okay, so algorithm, so lot of details will be there. So if that designer also always collect the requirements from the user, which one is required, which one is most important for designing the algorithm. Okay, so the important things the user need to collect, and based on that the user needs to design the algorithm. So he need to delete, or he need to here not include unnecessary details, only he need to include the important, most essential things. So unnecessary details also if you are including in the algorithm becomes more complex. For example, you are going to solve some mathematical problem, so only important, for example rough work, max you will do lot of rough works, isn't it? So rough work always you will do at the side, whether you will write all the rough works in the main sheet of the paper? No. So you know, isn't it? So only the important things or essential things you will write in the main sheet. So unnecessary in the rough works is need, but you will write in a rough paper. So that is called abstraction. Likewise, the particular person or a designer is going to design the algorithm. Person or a designer needs to collect the requirements and he needs to design the algorithm based on the user need. That is called what? Abstraction. Okay, students. So up to this enough, I think it's so. Okay, so today you can go through what do you mean by abstraction and the examples I have taught now. Square root of number, that also you go through it. Okay, students. So read and study will take care. Thank you, students. Thank you all.